Now 5 o'clock. So I'll go ahead and get our finance committee meeting, call it to adjournment. Call it, that's a really fast meeting, yeah. Call it to order, and we'll get started. Today we're working.
This is my perspective. I'm sorry.
You're all right. Today we're working on resolution number 14, which is authorizing stormwater improvement plan grant application. I know this has gone through, well, Sri, I'll let you give us a little history and tell us a little bit about it if you don't mind.
Sri, city engineer. So whenever I came to you in front of, talking about stormwater, I always mentioned I'm always looking out for grant opportunities to, double our money or get some free grant from different organizations. So that's something we looked at early, like few months ago, that I learned about a $600,000 stormwater grant that Okra, Office of Community Rural Affairs, that have set aside every year for stormwater projects. It's a $600,000 match towards projects that are qualified under Okra's grant requirements. And the way it has to work is I have to get a grant administrator, Okra approved grant administrator, to help me work on the grant and submit that. That's where Mike Kleinpeter comes in. So I kind of reached out to Mike and said, hey, I need you to help me with this grant. And that's what all this started. And Mike can explain to you a little bit more details about the process itself, what we have done so far, how we qualify for this particular project. This project is called the Brookside Park Drainage Improvements. This was one of the projects that I have identified for the stormwater grant bond that I came in front of the council a few months ago, like back in March. This was a project that was identified in that. So based on the income data and all the information that Mike could find out, we qualified for the 600. We will qualify under Okra again. It's up to them for the final decision. But we were eligible to submit for this project for a $600,000 stormwater grant. So I'll let Mike talk about how the process and what we need to do and what we are here today to get this going.
Good evening, committee. Mike Kleinpeter, Kleinpeter Consulting. We are an Okra certified grant administration firm. We've got 6 certified grant administrators on staff. We're working currently with about 60 municipalities across the state. This is kind of our bread and butter. We write multiple grants every round. Okra has 2 rounds per year, usually offered in the spring and fall. So we're applying for the December 22nd grant round. And so what the process looks like is we have a public hearing, which we had at the Stormwater Committee board meeting. We then submit what's called a proposal. That's kind of just a draft of what our application is going to look at for. Okra reads through them, reviews it. They come out and do a site visit, which is scheduled for next week. And they're going to talk about our project and what we should do to be more competitive. Then we're going to do the second public hearing tonight at the council meeting and pass a resolution authorizing the local match funds contingent upon getting a grant. So if we don't get a grant, then you guys are not committed to your funds. As part of the process, we had to qualify. Okra's program is to help low to moderate income people benefit. The block group that this project is located in automatically qualifies. We then had to do a preliminary engineering report. And so Wessler did a preliminary engineering report. That step has been completed and is done. The third step is we have to have site control, which means we have to get any easements or buy any land that we need for this project. This project is in city right-of-way, so there's no issues with easements on this. The fourth step is the environmental review, which is where the engineer gives me an aerial of everywhere on this project dirt's going to be moving. We send that out to about 12 agencies for their comments. We received comments from all agencies. Nobody has any issues, so that's great. We're ready to proceed forward. And the last thing we have to have is our local match commitment. And so the reason we're here today is because tonight at the public hearing, we'll talk about the project again at council, and then we're going to ask for approval of the resolution committing that local funding contingent upon getting a grant approved at Okra. So with that, to tell you a little bit about the project, I'll go ahead and invite Wessler up. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Atkins with Wessler Engineering, and we've been assisting with pulling information together on the project. So this is the Brookside Park neighborhood, and there's been some flooding that's happened in the neighborhood over the years. In the PER that we prepared, we received some photos from the street department where all the roads along Kercheval were completely flooded. I think it was back in like 2012 or maybe 2011. But
11.
oh, you remember it. Okay, very good. So you don't need me to tell you about the problems in this neighborhood. But,
I live there.
oh, you do? Okay, very good. All right. So, so the project is to install some new storm sewers along 54th Street, along 53rd Street, and then along Kercheval. So, and then there's an upsize of one other pipe over towards on the eastern side of the project. So anyway, if you have any questions about it, I'm happy to answer those, but that's kind of the details of what the project's going to include.
Can you give just a quick cost? It sounded like 600,000 was the grant, so what's the additional amount that we need to match as a council?
Oh, shoot. Thank you. What'd you say again? 801,960.
So 1.4 million roughly is the total cost.
Total,
Okay.
Yeah.
And Cherie, is that roughly what was in the proposal back in March for this project?
Correct. So they just reevaluated the price again to make sure. So, that we have already, at that time, I've already evaluated it for the future years. So they just made sure that's a scenario. And this project, even if we get the funds, like in January is when they're going to announce it, right? This is going to be spread along multiple years. So from a local match perspective, it's not a 800,000 next year. The construction won't start until like late next year. It's going to spread over multiple years. So that's how I budgeted this, because again, we have enough funds to spread it over the next 2 years to fund this project from a local side.
So we just need to do the one approval, though. We wouldn't have to do multiple years.
No, this resolution is making sure that Okra knows that the council and the city is committed to $800,000 if they give us the $600,000.
Great, thank you. I guess, are you open to questions?
Sure.
All right, is there any questions or comments that any counselors would like to make?
Hopefully we can keep doing it again.
Yeah, keep looking for the
We're
grants.
looking at, like I said, I'm always looking out for grants, and there are opportunities where we don't qualify. This one, when I looked at it, I thought we needed an income survey and stuff, but when Mike looked at it, it's already there. It's already falling under the current scenario, and it was pretty much an easy thing for us. So usually we have to go through the income survey and all that stuff, which would take a lot more time and, a lot more money too. So to me, I think I have a good feeling that we're going to get this grant. Again, don't quote me, but I have, based on everything we have done, based on all the points we looked at. So this would be a good way to double the money we have and do a very good project in the city.
Thank you. This is a good thing for the city, so appreciate all your work. And
Thank you.
hang out till the actual council
Yeah,
meeting's
yeah.
at 6:30.
Yeah,
And
so
then
we're going to have a
this-
public hearing at that time, and also I would like to get an approval
We'll
basically
make a recommendation here.
today, so we can just get this behind us and submit it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh,
did
go
have a
ahead.
couple of
Yes.
questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand or hear you. All right, Council Whitfield, what would you like to ask?
Thank you. So I just want to, thank you, counselors. I just want to go over for clarification and understanding. This is an 80-20 opportunity,
Now, this is not, the total match from the Okra is 600,000.
600.
Even if it is a $3 million project, they will only give us 600,000. So this is a $1.4 million project, so 600 is Okra's grant if we get it, and the rest 800,000 is on us.
Okay, and thank you for that clarification. And is there a timeline for this funding? Is it 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, great question. So the Okra grants, we're going to apply December 22nd. Their calendar for next year is not out yet, but based on historical data, they usually award 2 months after applications are due. So we're expecting award announcements to be around Valentine's Day. And then once you're awarded, you have 6 months to bid the project out. So
Okay.
So sometime in August, we should probably be bidding out. We certainly could move potentially faster, based on the engineer and how quickly they get final design done, but the slowest scenario would be August, and then construction starting as soon as they get material in, September, October, November, depending.
And I know the next question is, I've already started the design on this. The design is halfway through. So the plan is to have the design ready by spring of next year. So the design has been started. I know that question was coming.
Yes, it was. All right, and in the grant procedure, when you do this, is there any, I'm also looking for supply diversity. Is there anything that when you?
All of our contracts will have a city 15, 8, and 3 requirement for our city contracts is a goal. So we usually put that as part of the contract for everything.
Great, thank you.
And it will be a project that will be bid out. So we'll be issuing bids and we'll giving them 30 days. It's a publicly bid process. So whoever is the lowest responsible bidder will get the contract, just like we do resurfacing or any other project.
Okay, great. This is a great opportunity. Thank you. That's it,
other
thank you.
Comments or questions? I don't want to. All right, well, this time then, I'll entertain a recommendation, a motion for a recommendation to recommend this to the full council.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Recommend it to the full council.
Motion, is there a second?
Like a second.
All right, we have a motion to recommend and a second, so by a show of hands, all those that recommend this to full council? Any opposed? None, so this will be recommended to 4-0. Great job, guys, and like I said, stay, hang around to about the full council, and we'll go from there. All right, there's no other items on our agenda tonight, so the Finance Committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you.